they would do it. So they don't care that it debases your currency when it goes in their pocket. You understand? So it's all very simple math. So for the Labor Department to say, well, we're just incompetent, or it's rubbish. They're lapdogs, worse than lapdogs, just like all these politicians. You think I wouldn't put them all on minimum wage? Give me the chance. Chuck Schumer, God Almighty, I would just love to say, Chuck, buddy boy, we'll put on minimum wage. These Democrats have been just as culpable, just as culpable. Okay, even worse, because they've come out under this mask that they're the egalitarian ones, they're the socialist sympathizers and all this, when these words have no meanings. I mean, we're all in Babylon. People are saying stuff. Government. What is the government? According to your Constitution, that's how we ought to define it. That's the criteria. The government, the only legitimate government, is we the people as a whole. That's a republic. Okay, that is what it is. That's far better than democracy. Okay, majority rules is like a mob rule. It doesn't make any sense. If you can manipulate the majority, that's all you got to do. And that's what they do. They raise your gas tax here. They debase your gas dollars. And all the Democrats, they think they're the good guys. And they say, well, yeah, but it's good. You understand, somehow that money's going to, some job or, some important service or something like that. You see, they rationalize. They've been told this stuff. And so people are voting against their own self-interest. I mean, we're in so much trouble. I cannot begin to tell you. But these Democrats, I mean, words have meanings, folks. And if we don't have an agreement, a meeting of the minds as to the precise definition, how we're using that word, then we can't have a fruitful discussion. Okay, we're not going to have an effective, productive discussion. Okay, because you're thinking one thing, and if we don't discuss, well, what's in your head now? I said the word government. So we're going to talk about who is the government. So if in your head you're thinking bureaucrats and all this, politicians, okay, then, and I'm thinking we the people, then we might as well be speaking two different languages. You understand? I mean, we're just going to make things worse. So it's absolutely essential first to establish how you're using the word. And that's just one of manifold terms that we use day in and day out. I hear people bandying these terms about, and nobody knows what the hell is the definition. Oh, well, I disagree. And what's in his head? He doesn't see it. Politics, what does that mean to people? It's all about money. It's how they're going to spend your money. What does fiscal mean? Fiscal conservative. What does that mean? You're supposed to, well, I'm against high taxes, right? When they shoot themselves in the foot day in and day out, they're just as bad as the people that call themselves Democrats and are shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, it's all about keeping their job. They get paid all these huge sums of money, and when they drive our cost of living up because they're just fat lapdogs for the Federal Reserve Bank. That's who the Labor Department's been a lapdog for. If they said, hey, look, your cost of living has been manipulated upward, the Labor Department would have known that. They're supposed to be paying keen attention to that. So they say, well, because it's not supply and demand. They say, well, they're not adhering to capitalist principles of supply and demand. This is why JFK was abolishing the Federal Reserve. He saw what they were doing. They were going to manipulate. There was evil forces in there. And just like our forefathers said, if you allow the banks to have this kind of power, you're going to wake up homeless on the land your forefathers conquered. And that's where we are today. Okay? And that's where we are today, my friends. I mean, we're in so much trouble. I'm so scared for people, the trauma that has got to come, for people to understand that you want your cost of living to go down, and they're going to freak out. They're going to say, oh my God, it's a depression. That's what they're saying. Now the stock market plunged so much this year, they say they haven't seen anything like this since 1930. Okay. Do you understand? Your money is worth more. Look at it like that. Okay. Your stock, bond money, whatever is going, I've never played the stock market. I don't have a 401k. I could care less about that stuff. Okay, and you could call me foolish, whatever. I just don't care. It's none of my business. People that are into it, I care about them. But they've got to understand also, look at it this way, that your worth of your money is going up. You see, this is why I say, the Labor Department's been so necessary. They've been such a big cog, such an important cog in the wheel of the machinery getting this thing done. The the machinations of getting the job done here and successfully stealing the wealth of the people, because that's what they're doing. All the people have to give is their labor. Like Adam Smith said, I mean, that's it. That's the most important thing. You could sit on a pile of capital, but if you don't have a willing workforce, you can't get anything done. Conversely, if you do have a willing workforce, which we've always had in America, who can dispute that any time in history that we have not had a willing workforce in America? Nobody can dispute that. Do you understand? So I know what I'm talking about here, folks, so please listen to me. But the currency debasement is how they've been stealing your wealth. And the way they debase your currency, how is your currency debased? It's through raising your cost of living tax, manipulating it upwards. It's called price rigging, price fixing, market manipulation. This is collusion of different special interest groups that will benefit from driving your cost of living up. Or in different powerful ones like the political class that doesn't give a crap. They give themselves a raise for doing a reprehensible job, an abysmal job, and they give themselves a raise. Do you understand how outrageous this is, that we're all accepting this? We've lost America a long time ago. Even a democracy, as bad as that is, how, a majority, 51% could vote to enslave the other 49%. That's a fly in the ointment, a huge fly in the ointment of a democracy. But how is the '08 bailout in any way, shape, or form a semblance of democracy? How is it when 90 plus, it's said, by very respectable people, okay, countless people that I trust, okay, that tell me, look, the vast majority of Americans were clearly opposed to that bailout. Let's just leave it at that. That people intuitively, even if they didn't intellectually understand why they were opposed to it, they knew for damn sure that they wanted something, some ramifications for the criminality. If there was criminality done that caused these innocent people, okay, they weren't innocent. They lied on their loan application. Yeah, like you're not a big fat liar. I mean, everybody can lie. I mean, people are scared. I mean, what won't people do to survive? Basically, that's it. They saw this as a bandwagon. If they didn't jump on the bandwagon of home ownership in time, they were going to be left out. They were desperate to jump on that bandwagon. Yeah, they'll lie. What the hell? People murder every day for money. So, yeah. They don't want to be left off the economic bandwagon of realizing the American dream, middle-class home ownership. How are you going to hate them? So they knew by pumping the market like they did, the housing market, dumping all that money, it was Bill Clinton, Slick Willy, largely, almost single-handedly responsible for getting this ball rolling in this direction, because there was some checks and balances. There was guys like Bill Black, a regulator, financial regulator, banking regulator, that it was there when the home savings and loan scandal took place back in the day. If you look it up, you can read about the history of that. But, there was a remnant, a residue of accountability, oversight left. Okay, but once Slick Willy gave, God almighty, I mean, people got to know what a traitorous monster Slick Willy is. Please, I mean, and I'm not going to go into his sex life, okay? But, I mean, dragging the country through the mud. Do we forget that fast? How many years? Monica Lewinsky is tattooed on our brain. Cigars are tattooed in our brain, okay? We all know what Slick Willy did, and his beloved Hillary just, that's okay. It's just boys being boys, and, But she didn't have her political future in, when it came to dumping this clown. No, she's absolutely adores Slick Willy, right? She's in love with Slick Willy, right? Even though a lot of people will say, and I guess you'd have to do a genetic test, but that Chelsea is not his daughter, okay? That it's Hubble, I think is the guy's name. But I don't know. I'm not saying it is or isn't until the DNA test is done. But there is a, that Hillary had an affair, but. So I don't know what the truth is about that. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I mean, Hillary seemed, I like Chelsea probably the most out of all of them, but, she's a spoiled, rotten brat. I think that her mom gave her a $10 million condo in Manhattan from the people I trust, the people I listen to. But people got to know what a traitor Slick Willy was. Okay, and then we got Baby Bush, this idiot. Okay, I tell you what, there's some guys I would like to take, I've heard Alex Jones say he'd like to take all these guys in a ring, take them both at once. Well, let's see. I'll put Slick Willy in the ring, Baby Bush, Barack Obama, Macron, and we'll throw Chucky Schumer in there for good measure. And I'll take all 5 of these guys. I'm not a big guy, and I'm not a young man. But I tell you what, all these guys are wussies. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're all a bunch of wussies, okay? You're liars. I mean, I don't like liars, okay? They're the biggest wussies I know that are just, if they got people believing that these are good, decent people and, oh, don't you wish Bush was still president? You know, I've seen those posters up, oh, now, you know, after Obama and all this back and forth nonsense of just, but the trajectory of just taking this country down, man, into the dirt. Forget third world, man. We'll be coveting the lifestyle that they have, the standard of living they have in third world countries if these people get their way. Do you understand? This is going to be fourth world status, my friends. The most miserable case scenario. You know why? Because America had a taste of freedom, or at least a real hope that we were going to permanently attain freedom and fix our problem. And that is antithetical to what these evil people, these madmen at the top want. They don't want us free. But that day is coming. It's written in your Bible, okay, that, hey, the captives are going to be set free. This is God's will. Do you understand? So if you're opposed to God's will being established on earth, you're going down. I don't care. You call yourself a Democrat, Republican, call yourself a liberal or a conservative, call yourself a socialist or a capitalist. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, you're all on the highway to hell. If you're not saying, you know, God, ask God, what is your will? Okay, first of all, you defer your own pride and prejudice, your own belief system that you've concocted or comes from childhood and the way you've been manipulated and trained in college and universities and all this crap, and you subjugate that all before the Lord, you're not going to be on the right path. You've got to make a very deliberate effort not to be evil, okay, in order to not be evil, to be found worthy of and deserving of going to a better world, inheriting a better world, and being with like-minded people. What are the people that you're like? Do you like who you are? Would you like to be just with kind of people like you? Do you think that would work? Okay, do you think that would work? Ask yourself that. And if you think that would work, let's say I'm talking to just money lenders today, okay? Do you think it would work if you guys all went to the same place, an island with just money lenders, and that's all you're willing to do? I'm sitting here in my ivory tower. Well, who built your ivory tower? How'd you get it if they're just like-minded people? Surely your other money lending family, you know, they didn't build it because that's their job too, is lending money. You get it? So by extension, use that for other jobs that you're doing out there, and understand just the wanton madness that has consumed our culture and our society. Okay, it's everywhere, man. The vast majority of jobs now absolutely depend upon the problems persisting. And the one main problem that has to persist and preferably grow is desperate poverty. The kind that just scares the daylights out of people. It scares people literally to death. Okay, I meet so many homeless people, and I tell them, listen, man, people that turn their nose up at you, man, and then they call themselves Christians, they're all on the highway to hell. They're evil people. There is no basis. There is no justification for snubbing the downtrodden that have been downtrodden on purpose. Do you understand? This has all been done through economics. Do you understand? Through currency debasement by raising your cost of living tax, artificially manipulating things upward for profit and control. All those things people get from the money, the root of all the evil, that love of money that drives all of the social ills in our society, all the political ills, all this lack of cohesion in our society, the economic ills, this imbalance between the wealth, how it just, where's it going to end? Nobody knows, but we stay on this trajectory. The Democrats or Republicans take us on this path. People that profess to be socialists and profess to be capitalists take us on this path. People that profess to be conservatives and liberals keep taking us on this path. We're in a lot of trouble, okay? Can you see? I mean, but when we finally hit the wall and the worm's like, finally getting ready to turn, the ship's finally starting to turn that direction. Do you understand? No, we can't. People will discover that, they'll see the man behind the curtain and how all these problems have been conjured up by these people, and that we don't need these problems. Everybody can live in freedom and prosperity and safety and security, all those good things we all want. It's true. It's true, but we're going to ruin the planet. So we don't be like us, because we consume tons of energy and we got a huge carbon footprint. But you've got to go kill yourselves like lemmings, jump off the cliff, because that'll save the planet. And I mean, you understand we're in a lot of trouble because these are the people at the helm that are controlling the rudder and controlling the implementation, the linkage between the rudder and the helm of the ship of humanity, basically. And it's centered in America. Okay, centered in like Washington, D.C. and New York, where you got the Central Federal Reserve, because they're ahead of everybody, like Alan Greenspan said, that nobody can overrule, override, or supersede the Federal Reserve. No government agency can do that. So for all intents and purposes, the Federal Reserve now is what he's saying, own America. So that's it. And so these politicians all bow in submission to the money printing class. Do you understand that this? It's satanic. It's satanic. Satan has literally taken over America.